Hi guys, my name is Michelle, but you can call me Mimi. Welcome to Mimi Unfiltered TV. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down what's happening with Mpura's estate in regards to non-payment. So Neil Makate is alleged to have presented himself as the owner of the music made by Mpura, TeeJay and Thakzin the DJ to Universal Music Group and Def Jam Africa. So they entered into an agreement and he has allegedly received 300,000 rands over music that he did not make. So I was doing research on the story, trying to gather my facts, and I found an email chain and some documents related to this case that I feel like will shed more light as to what's exactly happening. So this all started on the 19th of October in 2022. Imagine 2022, when the lawyers representing Mpura's estate sent a letter of demand to Universal Music Group. So this is the letter that they sent forward, and we're going to read the paragraph 4. So it says, we request that you provide our officers with the agreement between Thakzin DJ, TeeJay, Nkosazana daughter, and Mungazi Stearman statements and any supporting documents in respect of royalty payments for the songs Yinistagwa, Amacala, Logishi, and Izita received and or accruing to yourselves for the benefit of the deceased for the accounting period commencing from the date of release until present, including the period from the date of death, 7 August 2021. So basically what that means is Mpura's estate wants Universal Music Group to provide the agreement that they made with the artists mentioned. So basically in that agreement, it states how all the money made from the music release will be distributed between Universal Music Group and that artist. So they want to understand with, okay, what agreement did you guys make? Did you say that you will take 10% and the artist takes 50% and whoever else takes whatever percent? So they want to understand that first. Once they send that agreement, they also want Universal Music Group to send them every single detail in regards to the money made by each of the songs that were mentioned. So let's say Eunice Dagwa made 100 rand. They want to understand, where did that 100 rand come from? Who received that 100 rand? And then how was that 100 rand shared? And who was that 100 rand shared amongst? So that's basically what Mpura's estate sent to Universal Music Group. So after they received that email, they then contacted Neil because to them, they were under the impression that Neil owned the masters of the songs. So this is what they sent to him. They said, we've received the attached letter from the estate of the late Mongezi Mpura Stearman. As per the letter, the estate has requested copies of the featured artist agreements between Waltz and Mpura, as well as royalty statements relating to the masters entitled Yinis Dagwa, Amacala, Ilogishi, and Izit. Please, can you send us copies of the requested agreements and an all-time royalty statement from Mpura for the masters so that we can forward the request info to the estate? I will keep you on copy in our response. So that for me was a bit weird because Universal Music Group is a big company. So I would expect that they would have already had these documents on file. Because if you made an agreement with Neil over music that he did not make, wouldn't you have requested these documents from him before doing business with him? Because how is it that you, as a reputable company, have paid this man 300,000 rands, but you don't even have the documents that you're being requested? That's a bit weird to me. So anyone can just go to Universal Music Group and be like, you know what, I made that song, so you need to pay me the money. That's a bit strange. That's a bit strange. And also the fact that they're dealing with the estate of someone who passed away, that was more of an incentive for Universal Music Group to be like, hey, before we do business with you, just make sure you show us all the documents so that we know what we're dealing with. So for them to only ask for these documents now that shit has hit the fan is very weird to me. It's like, okay, what kind of a business are you guys running? You know? But anyway, once Neo received this email from Universal Music Group, this is how he responded. He said, "Hi," and then he also attached TeeJay in the email chain. "I hope you're well. This master issue is starting to be a thing. I was suggesting that the master be split in two. Me and TeeJay, we will share this with all the artists that were involved. Or I would highly suggest you administer the master payment process so I don't get any backlash from people claiming they didn't get paid. I think this is a sign that we need to pay a portion of the master payment to everyone who participated in this project. Your thoughts?" At TeeJay. Okay, that is also a little bit strange to me because I'm like, okay, so you're asked to provide documents. And instead of providing those documents, your response is, "Oh no, I have a suggestion. I was thinking that me and TeeJay will split in two. Then after we split in two, we'll also split with the other artists." That doesn't really make sense. Doesn't really make sense because how did you decide that you and TeeJay will split it in two? According to what? Shouldn't there be an agreement between you and TeeJay that stipulates how you split the masters and the royalties? Like, how did you come up with this whole me and TeeJay will split in two? Why you and TeeJay? Because last I checked, Mpura's estate is the one that has requested this information. And they're only requesting this information because they feel that there's a portion of that money that is belonging to them. So when you say you and TeeJay will split it in two, what about Mpura? Why you and TeeJay? Because they mentioned 4 artists. It was Nkosazana daughter, TeeJay, Thakzin the DJ, and Mpura. But you, Neo, are saying that you and TeeJay will split it in two. Why? Why the two of y'all? And according to what agreement? That's shady business. That's very shady business. Because if you're a reputable businessman, when you're asked to provide documents, your response is, "Okay, please look at the files attached to this email. Full stop, done." You don't come to the email tagging someone else and be like, "Oh, me and this person will share 50-50, and then after that, we will share with the other artists." That's very shady. That's very shady. So now I'm starting to look at Neo Makate like, okay, you did do some shady business where this is involved. Because your response is very shady. Where are the documents?
Zippy documents.
So anyway, TeeJay then responds to that email that he received from Neo, and this is what he says. He says, and also those people at Willem and Shonez, those are people that work in Universal Music Group. So anyway, it says, "Kindly advise with date and time on when we can meet. I am no longer interested with the back and forth on email. Regards." Then Neo says, "When are you available?" So I didn't really like TeeJay's response because, for one, communicating via email is a very good way of protecting yourself, as it's not easy to delete emails once they've been sent. So like with WhatsApp, I can send you a message saying "fuck you" and I can delete it before you even read it. Whereas with emails, it's very difficult to delete a message you've already sent. So I wish that TeeJay would have not responded in this way. I wish he would have realized that, no, I actually need to make sure we respond on email so that in the future, when shit hits the fan, I can refer back to be like, "Oh, remember on the 18th of July, you sent me this email," and I can show it to them. So I wish he wouldn't have responded in that way. And also, he sounded kind of rude. And I can get it. Like, okay, this guy hasn't paid you. You want your money. I get that part of his anger, but at the same time, when you're dealing with music execs, because as you can see, they tagged Willem and Shonez, and those are Universal Music Group execs. So when you're dealing with an email chain that involves music execs or bosses or anything of that nature, you kind of have to watch the way that you speak, because they will judge you based on how you speak to them. So saying things like, "I'm no longer interested in this back and forth of your email," can come off as rude and arrogant. And as people who are supposed to pay you money, they will take that and be like, "Ah, no, you know what, this guy, he's actually the problem." He's actually the problem in all of this, because look at how he's responding. No one was rude to him, but he's being rude to us. So yeah, that would not make people pay you the money that they owe you. If anything, they'll believe that they are right and you are wrong. So I wish he would have, gotten someone else to like advise him on how to respond, because this is not how you respond to music execs. And also, I feel like they were thinking, wait, we want to do things properly. We want to communicate via email so that we make sure everything is done according to procedure. So if you want to talk face to face, that leads them to believe that, okay, no, this guy, there's something that is hiding. Because why does he want to talk face to face? Why does he not want to protect himself by having an email chain to protect him in the future? You know what I mean? So his response was wrong, but I get the frustration, because it's like, wait, I made the song. I'm supposed to make this amount of money, but I'm not making any money. Now these people are sending me emails like I'm the one who's wrong when they owe me money. So I can get that part of his frustrations. But yeah, when you're dealing with like, work and things like that, there's a way to respond. You don't always have to be rude. You'll be rude once you quit and you got your money. But if you don't have your money, you kind of have to watch how you say things. So according to TeeJay, that meeting actually did not take place, and I'm not surprised, just based off of how he responded. Like, no one was going to meet up with him if this is how you're responding. So anyway, that meeting didn't take place, and the next time that they actually communicated was on the 14th of August 2023, so a whole year later. So it was TeeJay sending the Universal Music Group execs an email, and this is what he says. Hey Shanice, can you kindly share your availability this week, as I'd love to come to Def Jam with a legal representative regarding 1,000,000 Amapiano seconds and party on Saturdays, and the masters that was sold to you by Neil Makate. So anyway, just reading that email, I can tell that he probably, consulted someone who told him to know when you're responding, to people that you work with or have worked with, this is how you have to communicate with them. You don't use emotion, you just use facts. So I like how he responded in this email, but unfortunately it was just a little bit too late, because once he sent that email, he got this notification, which basically means that the person he sent the email to had blocked him. So I'm assuming that the way he responded in that email I'm no longer interested in communicating via email. So they were like, oh, you're not interested in communicating via email? Blocked. You see, so yeah, the way he responded actually kind of shot himself in the foot with that. But like I said, I understand that he is frustrated. It is frustrating when you work so hard and you pour yourself into a project, or for someone else to take that project and be like, that's mine now, and then they make money off of it when you don't. So I understand that, but unfortunately now the music execs are not willing to talk to him to find a way forward, because of the way that he responded in that other email. So it seems like that's how things ended off, as there hasn't been any updates based on that, except for TeeJay continuously posting that this man done fucked him up.
Ngizokupushela radio because he's got a connection ne-radio. Angazi i-connection yokudiza or kanjani, but it looks like it's a tight connection.
He can get songs airplay, yeah.
Yeah. And then nama music videos like uyakhona ukuthi awafake ku TV yadala. So would approach you and say, okay, I'm gonna plug your song and I will drop your song. And then bekakulanda ngokuthi he's a PR specialist.
Like I already said, this started in October of 2022 and it's April 2025, but this issue is still making headlines. So it leaves me wondering, is there a clause that was in the agreement between Mpura and Neo that stated that if Mpura passes on, Neo would assume ownership of the masters? I'm just wondering, because it's very confusing to me how a big company such as Universal Music Group made an agreement with Neo for masters that he didn't own unless he actually owned them. You see, that's why it's important to have a lawyer read over any contract that you sign, because there will be clauses within that agreement. You will think that, oh yes, we're going to split things 50-50, but you won't understand that that 50-50 is based on you being alive. The moment you die, the person who's alive will get 100%. Now, that's just my assumption. I'm not saying that's what the agreement was between the two of them or that's what the contract said. I'm not a lawyer. I never saw the contract, blah, blah, blah. I'm just a person on the outside looking in. Why would Universal Music Group pay him 300,000 rands unless they were incentivized to do so? So anyway, guys, what do you think about this whole story? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching. And also, this video was a pain to film. I kept stopping and bye.